As with anything health or fitness related, the best option is going to be the one that you will follow through on. For those in the camp I mentioned at the beginning who see physical improvement as something that should be torturous or self-sacrificing, you're unlikely to make anything stick this way. So even if your approach on paper is the most scientifically proven, optimal and effective route, if you don't stick to it, and why would you stick to something causing you discomfort, it will have no effect. You could own the greatest lawnmower in the world, but your grass will still look awful if you never take it out of the garage. Now, that may seem obvious, but it does come into play in quite a big way here, as we will see in a minute. Giving your effort to something you don't enjoy is called stress. And as I've covered in previous videos, and I will do so in detail in a future video, stress is one of the greatest inhibitors of physical progress there is. Where giving your effort to something that brings you joy and happiness, that's called passion. So find your passion. We're more likely to stick with things that bring us joy and happiness. You'll have heard the phrase, happiness is inside you, or something similar. Well, that is 100% true. No matter what in this life you believe is making you happy, in reality your body is responding with the release of one or more feel-good hormones. And those hormones feel good. Without the release of these hormones, then that association of happiness, comfort or joy does not exist. I'm not going to go into massive detail here, I can do that another time, but the 4 hormones of note are endorphins, dopamine, serotonin and oxytocin. The first two, endorphins and dopamine, are often considered selfish hormones, in that they're associated with activities that benefit us. The other two, serotonin and oxytocin, are more selfless chemicals produced in conjunction with increased connections, bonds, and the giving and receiving of love and respect. But they all have a role to play, and it's possible to form a strategic approach that will amplify your levels of each. Endorphins are the easy one to start with, a natural painkiller. This is the chemical that helps us push ourselves on when the going gets tough. It's how those who favour the self-torture approach keep going, in the short term at least. The feeling of runner's high, or the elation when you feel your muscles burning in pain at the end of a weightlifting workout. That's the work of endorphins, and it can become extremely addictive. So in isolation, this is not a great choice to focus on. Whilst this is probably more commonly associated with more traditional training techniques, high intensity cardio or intense gym sessions, it can form part of the appeal of certain sporting activities. Intense sports with fast, impactful changes of direction, or sudden bouts of exertion like squash, tennis, or some passages of playing team sports like football, rugby, ice hockey and the like, can all produce a release of this hormone and the lift that comes with it. Dopamine is the one we tend to crave the most and can be the most dangerous. Often referred to as the happy hormone, it's the one we usually feel is the most satisfying. Commonly it's achieved through ingestion of alcohol, nicotine, chocolate or other comfort foods, even things like cocaine. But we also receive dopamine hits when we use our mobile phones. Each time we receive a notification, reply to a text, or get a like on a post, we get a hit. Speaking of which, I'm totally jonesing for a hit right now. Could you do me a favour, and if you haven't already, just one hit of that like button? This can often be part of the avoidance of exercise. There are more hits to be gained from procrastinating on our phones, indulging in comfort foods, or shopping, though it's also a hormone that's released through achievement. So when we feel good about how we performed during a game, getting the W, or hitting a new PB in the gym, it is available to us. But for many, subconsciously, that's too risky. Because what if we don't win, or hit new heights? Much safer to stay on our phones or hit the shops. Though as something else to remind yourself of here, the most extreme hits of dopamine usually come through others. Falling in love or having sex can cause your levels to skyrocket, and receiving praise for something you've done gives a major boost. And as we're such shallow creatures, most of the time, looking better and feeling more confident is only going to increase the chances of these things occurring in our lives. Serotonin is often cited as the feel-good hormone. It's a chemical we feel in conjunction with respect, admiration, trust, or preferential treatment. It boosts our confidence and it makes us feel on top of the world. It plays a key role in staving off anxiety and depression. So what can we do naturally to boost our serotonin, other than treating people well, doing our best when it affects others, and acting in a trustworthy manner? Well, spending time outdoors in daylight, getting a good night's sleep, and yes, exercise have all been shown to boost our serotonin levels. As for oxytocin, this is most commonly associated with emotional bonds and physical touch. Okay, I mentioned falling in love and sex as being associated with dopamine, but there it was more to do with the thrill. Oxytocin is more about the emotional bonds we develop, that warm fuzzy feeling you get being around certain people, even if you aren't doing anything thrilling or special. It can come through touch, with a hug or cuddling up on the couch. But we even get a hit of this chemical through simple gestures like a handshake, a fist bump, or a high five. Things that frequently occur in sporting activities.